kick it off then.
Hello, and welcome back to the Generational Podcast. This is episode 50,
And I'm Steve Brown.
and my name is Owen, and he's the father, and I'm the son.
I hope so.
Definitely.
So we have quite a bit to talk about today, huh?
Yeah, we do.
So there's a big. It's not really a conspiracy, but it's kind of for everybody that hasn't been listening to any of the other podcasts out there, like Dan Bongino or just about anybody out there. They're starting to talk about Victoria Nuland. You know who that is?
Well, I think we have an audio clip of her that we should play.
Well, I should we put a little backstory or a little context to it, or should we just play it out?
We should just play it out.
Really?
Yeah.
So, well, let me give a backstory. This is her 9 years ago, working as the second Secretary of State. She was just appointed recently by Biden.
Once again.
Once again, so Obama. This is a continuation of Obama. And I think I hope you guys can hear it. We'll try and
Let's turn it up all the way first.
all right, I'll put it all the way. That's pretty loud. We're gonna blow speakers or something today.
When you're a high-ranking official talking about diplomatic efforts in Ukraine, the last thing you want to do is drop your guard.
So that would be great, I think, to help glue this thing and have the UN help glue it. And, the EU.
But that is exactly what reportedly happened between US Assistant Secretary of State Victoria Nuland and US Ambassador to Ukraine Jeffrey Pyatt. The exchange has since surfaced online, including the crude swipe at the European Union. The audio clip of a woman and man said to be Nuland and Pyatt. Here's them discussing strategies to work with the three main opposition figures.
I don't think Cleach should go into the government. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's a good idea.
In terms of him not going into the government, just let him sort of stay out and do his political homework and stuff. I'm just thinking, in terms of sort of the process moving ahead, we want to keep the moderate Democrats together. The problem is going to be Tony Book and his guys. And, I'm sure that's part of what Yanukovych is calculating on all of this.
I think Yats is the guy who's got the economic experience, the governing experience. He's the guy, what he needs is Cleach and Tony Book on the outside. He needs to be talking to them 4 times a week, I just think Cleach going in, he's going to be at that level working for Yatsenyuk. It's just not going to work.
There is a suggestion for Nuland to contact Klitschko directly to play to his top dog sensibilities, while Nuland refers to getting the United Nations involved in a political solution. And that's where the unfortunate comment arises.
I'm obviously not going to comment on private diplomatic conversations, other than to say it was pretty impressive tradecraft. The audio was extremely clear. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. We're here from America. Would you like some bread? Please take something.
Thank you for coming.
All right, so that end part was her trying to give out bread.
So, explain what happened there.
Well, that was them discussing basically what she's done is they've implanted people in Ukraine's government in order to control government issues with Ukraine. So they're basically creating a banana republic in Ukraine. And then it's a fact that she wants to work with the UN and not the EU as a European Union. So she's willing to go in there and basically take over, right? And that's what's going on.
For the EU. No, for the UN.
Yeah, with
Okay,
the UN.
With the UN. Okay,
Yes.
not for the EU.
Not for the EU. But it's under the guise of saying it's for the Ukrainian people because Putin at that time went into the square like he did last time he invaded. The reason why Putin's invading is to stop further aggression by the UN, right? So his whole thing is the UN comes in and it just messes up everything, and they put in their own source of democracy, and then they run it from there. And it's not considered to be fair if you're implementing your winners, right? Like it's kind of like we call ringers, in sports. So it's like, say I get a ringer, say for college. There's been some NFL pro guys that didn't do good, right? So I'm like, all right, well, let's gonna play for my low-ranking college team so we can win. Ringers. You put in ringers so you can have control of that region, the resources of the region, its people, the adoption systems. There's a lot that goes on when the UN steps in. But the UN is backed by all the other three-letter organizations for the world, right? They say the globalist NWO, the Black Rocks, the Bill Gates organizations that are all for this globalist agenda. It's all intertwined. They're all working together for, and when I'm looking at it, from my perspective, and just my perspective, because I can only speak on my perspective, it's that it's very Stalin-like. It's very World War II-like. It's Cold War styles, but it's also people that have been implanted in our government, ringers that have been implanted in our government, basically, through other governments in order to kind of sway. And that's what we're seeing.
When you mean by other governments, you mean the
China,
NWO.
NWO. We could say the NWO or the globalist agenda or the WHO styles too. The UN is part of it. You know, in my personal opinion, the UN should be disbanded and thrown to the wind. Right? It should be done with because it's not helping anyone. It's creating wars.
You know who controls the UN, right?
China. China's controlling everything now because we've given the reins over to them. When we cut off our oil supply, we basically cut America's wrists. And we're bleeding out right now. We are bleeding out.
Recently, we found a cobalt mine around.
You found out
in
about
Utah,
cobalt in
right?
Utah.
So what happened was Biden actually gave the reins to an Australian company, and that Australian company is sending the cobalt to Brazil. And
Was it Brazil or was it South America? Oh, South America, yes. South America or Africa?
South America.
South America? To
Just
get
different
refined?
parts of the world.
Yeah.
To refine it instead of just refining it here in the United States.
And I bet their ships run off oil and coal, don't they?
Yeah,
Or diesel.
most likely.
How is shipping cobalt, first mining it, then shipping it, then refining it, and then how is that good for the environment?
And that doesn't make sense because we have Tesla here in the United States, and they should be the ones that are getting rein to it, including Ford and all those companies. But why is it being sent to another country to get refined first and then come back? It's too much time.
No, because look at what Elon Musk has done. Everybody that's pulled the veil back on the agenda, the globalist agenda, because it's not even leftist anymore. I'm not going to say leftist or right. It's globalist. And the globalists have bought one half of the party completely, almost. And they bought another half of the party. So there's literally very few, and you can count them on your hands. Jim Jordan's one, right? There's very few guys out there that are actually for America.
And recently coming up, Brandon Herrera.
Oh yeah, well Brandon Herrera, shout out to Brandon Herrera. Vote for Brandon if you're in Texas, I believe.
Yes.
For governor, he's the guy to go to. I put it in there. And is it governor? No,
Congress.
Excuse me. Well, you know that's why I'm the old head. But anyway, if you look at it this way, we've had this go on for that's a 9-year-old clip. This stuff has been going, and it's very naive of anyone to think that this is just a now problem that's surfaced. This has been an issue for a long time, and people like Alex Jones have been screaming from the rooftops, and they've silenced them completely about stuff like this. Don't get me wrong. Some of the stuff he says is a little bit kind of strange, like, you know, you've kind of keyed in on the mind control stuff, the 5G stuff, that's like, oh, it's persuasion. You kind of were talking about that.
Yeah, but 5G is mostly just colors. You know, colors give you certain emotions, and 5G, they think that 5G controls your emotions.
Well, that's another thing. I mean, I don't know if it does, because...
And that's kind of on the loony side, because we don't know yet.
Music can control emotions, too. Like, you know...
Those are vibrations, though.
I mean, how do you know the 5G isn't sending out vibrations?
Mm.
Good vibrations. No, you don't know.
No, that's a little too old.
It's not good. It's the Beach Boys, buddy.
I don't know.
Oh no, I have failed a little bit there in that musical side. I apologize, son. Yeah, I'll, after this, we'll get you introduced to the Beach Boys.
Okay.
That's something I should have done a long time ago. Shame on me. Shame on me. But anyway, it's a little bit crazy that these things are going on, you know, and it's weird. It's really, really weird. But when you see it all connect, it's scary.
Now, what we should do is actually put up a board of all the things we could connect with different people.
Well, they've already.
So there's
there's
a better sense of it. We shouldn't just say
No.
there's already, because this is our platform, and you shouldn't give it up to someone else who hasn't been able
Give
to.
what up to somebody else? What are you
The
talking
mantle.
about?
You can't just
Mantle
give
to
the
who?
mantle.
What are you talking about? I'm saying that cooking this all together is very complex, and I said people can look into it themselves, but we can put other. There's already been other. What can I say? Other maps of how it's connected.
Then we
It's
should
been
bring
out
it
there
up.
for a long time. So putting one together, it's when you look at it, you're just like, you scratch your head at first,
Mhm.
and the only reason why I understood it was because I had access to a lot of this information a lot further down the road than anybody else did. This was when I had access to this information. It was January 6th. A lot of the stuff that we're hearing now, I got it before January 6th. Right? It was that what was the website that they shut down? Parler. They shut Parler completely down. I had so much information there. So much information. It was crazy. I was sorting through it. I went first to the trafficking side of things and American side of things before I started going into the Julian Assange side, because there's a lot that he uncovered as well. But there's so much that we can just give to people that's already out there. So it's not something that I have or it's a mantle, because it's information that's out there for everybody.
Okay.
Right. So anyway, back to Brandon Herrera. Vote for Brandon Herrera in Congress for sure. Right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So what do you have that's next?
Well, there's a lot. There's a lot to uncover. There's the missing F-35.
Yeah, let's
There's
talk about that.
also the
Which I believe is a conspiracy as well.
conspiracy.
Well, my tinfoil hat belief is
Okay.
that, you know, what do you think about that? Do you
Well-
think it just got scared and ejected, or do you think it was like hackers, or what do you think? What's your deal on that? Was it just an emergency?
Well, I don't think that the F-35 was flying in the first place. I think it just got taken. And they just made the story up of someone being ejected to give some kind of record.
So you think that now, which was our biggest secret, like that we are not allowed to give people
By law.
by law, that it was given away.
Yeah, I think it was just given away and shipped away at some point. And then they just said they lost it and it flew somewhere, so they have some kind of search party to, say, well, we tried.
Yeah, and then they had the clearing in the woods where they're like, this is where it crash landed, 80 miles away. You didn't even see any debris. There's no plane debris there. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
So my thing is, if it were me,
They sold
yeah,
it to
I'm pretty
China.
sure that it's already gone. Somebody sold it, or
No,
someone has
no,
already
Biden gave
shipped
it to China. I think Biden gave it to China.
I mean, that's a part of the deal.
I mean, they're gonna. He's dude. He's China's bitch.
Yeah, definitely.
He's, and I don't. It's not even him though, because he's just a skin.
There's so many offshore bank accounts in China and all these different companies that are working with China to put away e-waste and
BlackRock.
everything.
BlackRock
Apple.
too. Apple. Oh my goodness, there's so many that are in bed with the Chinese that it's terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's very terrifying. And then you have the connection between. What's weird to me is that you have the old guard. We'll call them the old guard. And we know when I talk old guard who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Right. So there's a lot of these old guard that we've saved. That we literally saved them. We're like, oh well, you're a scientist. Come come over to America and just work here. It's okay. You can still have your beliefs, right? And then you have these high-ranking philanthropists, right, who worked for Nazis, stealing from their own people. Oh, I said the N word. You didn't like that, did you? So I said the Nazi word. But worked for these guys. Brags about it on 60 Minutes. There's literally video about it. Brags about how he turned in on his own people in 60 Minutes and didn't have a problem with it. Turning around backing stuff like this. And then you have all these other people that had some kind of bad happening, like let's say Bill Gates, right? Did you know that Bill Gates got sued for malware? Did you know that?
No, not at all.
You didn't know that he literally created a backdoor to a security system where he's like, oh, well, here's the antivirus, but it was the virus and got into people's computers.
Well, sounds like Bill Gates.
Well, you know that he was really hated for that. People were throwing stuff at him. American people were throwing stuff at him at one point. Did you know that?
No, no idea.
So imagine, how would you feel if you got caught doing some scoundrel stuff? People are throwing fruit at you all the time. Would you hate them back?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, there's a reason why you hate the country right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
They drug him out in the media and spanked him in public. Literally spanked him in public. And then since then, this guy's been like, you know, he does good things here and there, but there's a lot of bad that's hidden when people try to like say like, oh, look what I did here that's so good. Just look at this. Don't look at all this crap over here. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I wanted to come back to China because my second topic was going to be about how China's suppressing their news media, well, like they always do. But recently, ever since they had the hurricane and some of their dams broke, they've been having floods in certain cities, and those cities didn't get a warning before those floods came in. So now their food got diminished, and there's certain population of China in the western and northern side of it, in the far western and north, where there's more rural people living, and they're starting to be pushed out of their
I didn't know that.
towns.
Guess where they're going to get the food from?
Us?
And that Biden will take it right out of America's mouth, put it in China's mouth.
Yeah,
Because he
my
also
point
got
is-
spanked in public too.
my point is, when it comes to China, some people put China on a pedestal,
I do not.
and you shouldn't even see them as an equal. But honestly,
I love you.
China's infrastructure it's very developed in the cities, I'll say that, but it is very lacking when it comes to poor areas. Exactly like America, but less exactly like America because they don't even have cars.
Well, it's not like America because we don't put people in prison. Well, January 6th.
Yeah, so we're slowly
Political
turning
prisoners.
into. We are the ones that are slowly turning into China.
We are. The thing is, even, and I'm gonna bring out another family member. Your aunt, who's Chinese, said it doesn't make sense because the good thing about America is that they're not China.
Right.
So why are these politicians trying to push? Because
They're
why.
in the Chinese
I already know
pocket.
because they're
I mean,
they're part of the CCP agenda. They're low key CCP operatives, and it's the same thing with the Ukraine, right? For me, it's they're playing both sides.
it's not
just a one faucet problem, right?
There's no complete good and there is no complete evil. There's just pick your side and see what you can do.
Well, my side is America because I'm a nationalist.
Right.
Right, and I agree that everybody has the right to speak, and I think that everybody should have the right to speak on their own platform and say what they want, regardless of having a government to come down and repercussions. Right, that's what I believe. What do you think about that? Like, what side do you pick?
Well, the American side, of course.
Okay, now why?
Well, the reason why is because I grew up here.
Okay, what
And I
else?
also grew up in Japan, and I know that both countries are being bombarded by Chinese
Influence?
influence.
Can
yeah.
I say that?
Yeah, you can say influence.
Okay.
By Chinese influence, and they're slowly taking over,
Markets, maybe?
not markets,
They're
just
making markets.
yeah, markets, yeah, fishing market.
Because
they're
I
taking
guarantee-
over
I
chip
can-
market.
I can
they're taking
almost-
over.
I can almost guarantee you that Australia, the cobalt mine, if you dig deep enough, China will be behind it.
Oh yeah,
I can almost, if you don't believe me, we'll look it up afterward and we'll put it on the next podcast if we can find it. I bet I can almost bet it's there. I can almost bet it's there if we look. Almost bet, because Australia is really far up China's butt.
oh yeah, they turned into a police state a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
And
And
COVID hit.
and that's what's crazy. Remember, Australians were saying what? Don't give up your pew-pews.
Right, don't give up your guns.
Yep. Don't do it. That's what they said. The biggest thing. Everybody was like, don't ever give up your guns, otherwise they're going to do the same thing they did to us to you, America. And I was like, yeah, I see it.
So when you take a bird's eye view of everything,
There you go.
then you start seeing that it isn't just a country versus country, it's also a class versus class.
Well,
War.
yeah, you could say that it's kind of a class war, but it's also the fact that,
It's also an ideological war.
but you think about it, this is the only country where you can be a lower class citizen and make it to the top. Like, seriously, it's the only country where you can do that, and and Biden has made it so
And you
difficult.
can be any race.
Yeah, any race.
In Japan, you can't be every race. You can be Japanese.
You can be Japanese. That's the thing. Also, there's so much going on, right? We had, they created the new gun control thing in the White House too, right? So that's part of it. It's
What
like,
do you mean by gun control thing?
well, they have like a gun. Biden created a special office of people that are going to try to.
It's not the ATF?
No, it's another one. And they're going to try to create policies for gun owners
Oh, didn't
to
he
take
create
away
a new
certain
cabinet?
guns. Yeah, that's what it was. It was
That's
a cabinet.
what it is. Okay.
And the thing is with this is like, okay, it's America and our sovereignty and our rights and the fact that you can come here and people want to come here and you can say what you want, you can do what you want, you can become rich if you want to, and powerful if you need to for your own businesses, and you don't have to have government affairs. It's the last country you can do this in, man. You can't do it anywhere else.
But Biden's making it hard.
Really hard. Really hard. Like, seriously hard. And I'm saying this from my perspective, because I'm at the perspective of where I was a blue-collar worker my entire life. And now I'm a business owner, small business owner. And I'm beat up. I'm beat up. Like, beat up. Like, I thought the amount of money that I made last year, if I thought 5 years ago or 6 years ago I would have made this amount of money, it would have helped us. Now the amount that I've made isn't going to help anything. It's like basically I made $30,000 like I was just back in the military again. It's ridiculous. And I'm 42 years old.
Because gases are up, everything is up.
Everything
food
is.
up.
And they're like, oh, well, that's a continuation from COVID from Trump. No.
No, that's
No.
inflation.
It's inflation due to oil. You cut our oil production the first day in office. You tried to do this economic switch from gas to electric. You've tried to put, what do you call them, rules on propane gas, on wood stoves, and all this stuff to push further your agenda into electric.
And then you're printing money and giving it to another country.
That's inflation. That's a Biden inflation. It's Biden economics. Hashtag Trader Joe Biden. Right? Capital J, capital B. Like, if you agree with that, put your stuff out there. Let them know, because the only thing that can stop people like this, especially in our country, is when we stand up and use our voice, and then we come together as a collective. Democrats, Republicans, and I'm talking people, I'm not talking about the government, because we already know that they're bought and paid by the CCP and that they're getting kickbacks from Ukraine.
And other countries, as a matter
Other
of fact.
countries. There's not just the only ones. The
It's
NWO,
everyone-
the
You know what? It's everyone versus America now.
And
Honestly.
you know what? If that's the case, bring it. Like, let's get deep into this stuff. There's nothing. I love you so much when you say we need to do a Brazilian style government, where it's like, oh,
I
you
don't
guys-
think that's Brazilian. I think it's.
I thought you said it was Brazilian style,
I don't think so.
where they fight.
Oh
Where they
yeah,
just scrap
in
it out?
Brazil, there was an occasion where two people they were fighting over a plan for a project. They were fighting over the funds, so they couldn't decide which side. So they decided to fight.
I like that, dude. I'll run for governor or president. Look, let me get hands on him, dude. That would be great, bro. That would be like so. That would make me so happy.
I don't think Trump versus Biden will go up well.
Dude.
Because Trump's a pretty big man.
Trump is a beast, dude. I would take Trump over Biden any day in a celebrity death match, hands down. Joe would be sitting there going, Jill.
I said my name is Jill.
My name's every time he get hit, dude, he just knock him back like 10 years,
Like Malcolm.
15 years. Oh, Kennedy said that shit about me. That's another person that got spanked in public about his lying about his education.
Yeah, you're right. You know, Biden lied about his
That's what it,
being top in class, right?
yeah, lied about his education, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then they drug him in public and spanked him, right? I'm telling you, all these guys, they have like this, what do they call it when the superheroes, the villains, right?
They have a villain arc.
They have where they literally have the villain arc. Like something has happened where the public has scorned them and they had to go evil. Right? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It gets me excited because it's
Well,
so
my
stupid.
thing is, now that I don't have hope in the public anymore. Like
Why?
some of the public is very, very dumb. I would say,
I mean,
especially when they're following. when they're,
listen.
I just.
Okay, I don't believe that. I don't.
They
believe
need
that.
to be. They need to be educated.
We're doing it, but I don't believe that they're stupid. I believe that they're just misinformed,
Misinformed. That's a better word.
and I believe that there are some that are ignorant because
Ignorant, misinformed people. That's it.
well, I mean, if you think about it, they've only picked a side,
Mhm.
and it's like if you're picking a damn side, right? Neither side has correct people all the way through. It doesn't. That's why it's hard for me to say Republican or Democrat.
There's no clear good and evil.
Because both are bought and paid, right, by CCP right now, or Ukraine, or both.
Or a different entity, as a matter of fact.
I just want Americans that represent America, for a better America, for a better black community, for a better white community, for a better green community, for the reptilians, a better yellow community. Gotta be inclusive, baby. Even for the trans people, if you want to be trans, that's good too. I don't have anything against trans people. I do have something against people that are trying to make children trans. That's not cool.
But my thing is, if you're not for America, why are you in America?
Because they want to change it because they don't like our ideals. They don't like that we're free. They don't like that I come from the other side of the tracks in Osage City, Kansas, and I grew up playing in the dirt, but now I'm talking to you about how corrupt all these people that have been trying to run the country into the ground for the last 50 years, right? Longer than I've been alive. But now I'm here saying, hey, no, I love this country. I played in this dirt my entire life. I ate this dirt, okay?
And
It's part of me. I fought for this country.
Right.
2 wars. I don't like the way that it's going. They don't like that. They don't like that I'm teaching you about it.
They don't like people in general.
Well, that's the thing is they want to depopulate. That's another thing is depopulation. The whole thing about this everybody's like, oh, it's
Didn't Bill Gates talk openly about depopulation and
Absolutely.
how to do it through vaccines?
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
And our people in Africa, like Ethiopia, have a warrant against them.
Yes, and I talked trash about that, saying that it would never happen here in America, and then it happened.
Right. And then people followed because they follow.
I don't understand it. That's the thing I don't get. Is like, do they just follow people with money? Is that
Well,
it? Oh, he's got a bunch of money. He must be right.
No, it's just position, Dad. Like someone. Okay, imagine you were going into an airport, right? And you have the suit and everything, right? And the suitcase, but you're not a pilot. They're gonna let you through, just because of the way you look.
Yeah, because they think I'm a pilot.
Right.
Did you hear about that too? They had doctors for was it a WHO or something? They hired actors to play as doctors.
My thing is,
It's nuts.
people put a lot on position, right?
Mhm.
But they forget that they're still human. That they're just like you and I.
Idols. They put everybody on a pedestal like idols when they should only be putting God on the pedestal. Huh.
Right. So it's all idol. When you idolize someone, you stop questioning them.
Is that called idolatry? Is that what that's called? Idolatry, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm not very good on big words. I had a public education. Actually, my public education wasn't that bad. Actually, it kind of was.
So when people start to idolize, they stop questioning.
That is, they just go with it. Like the whole get your 2 clot shots because I'm a great football player. Right?
Right.
That really broke my heart because I really was enjoying the dynamic between the brothers, and I was enjoying the mom, cheering for the brothers, and then he went and did all that, and I was just like,
Yeah, Kelsey isn't really a.
Travis Kelsey at this
Yeah,
point.
Travis.
Not really a great.
He
role
really
model.
kicked the bucket right there.
I mean, that was just he's a party animal, and maybe experimental drugs are his thing.
Yeah, maybe it is.
I don't know. I just can't. I can't. It's hurting kids, man. I can't jump on to stuff like that. And what did you say? Usually, vaccines take 20 to 50 years, right, before they're like.
Well, it may take up to a century.
Before they can find out if it's really good, and then.
And even then, it's still an experiment.
Did you know that they're having like these trials and tribunals already with the companies for the vaccine?
Yeah,
And
they're
they're-
getting sued.
They're all saying we never told anybody that they had to do anything. What? You told people that they couldn't go and work unless they got it, that they were going to become super spreaders. Like, I don't have a Dory brain. I remember it, and I really have a chip on my shoulder because I have loved ones that might not be in the greatest of health that took the shot. Not once, not twice, like 3 times. Like, it's nuts. Right? Because they believed in the whole hype of it, because they were scared. We need to go back to where the news can no longer put out propaganda.
You mean their own opinions?
No, well, they can't put propaganda to push the nation forward. Obama let that bill run out, and it was put in there during Hitler's era for this very reason. For this very reason right here. It was put in during World War II era to stop something like this from happening. And here we are. Here we are. We have a mess to clean up. By the way, CIA strong. I want the CIA to start cleaning up house because I believe that they will. I believe that the CIA will clean up America and get us back away from the globalist agenda and start pushing back on the other intelligence agencies across the ponds and start cutting off all the excess cancer that has been growing in this country for the last 70 years.
You mean draining the swamp?
It's not a swamp. Cut the cancer.
Mm.
Cut and kill the cancer. Right? That's what I want. I don't mean they have to kill people. Let's make that clear. Like, I'm CIA. I know y'all can get dirty. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we need to bring them out in public. We need to put what they've done on trial. We need to let the people decide what they're going to do with them. And we need to make sure that it's people from the CIA the people will trust, right? That people can actually trust and say, hey, listen, this guy's for America. This agency is for America again. It's okay. It's okay to admit that we've had every company, every country has had an element of corruption. It's how we can clean it up that matters. And I believe that in my heart of hearts. It's how we clean it up. How do we clean up this BLM stuff that started out great because Black lives do matter. All lives matter. White, green, black, everybody. I keep saying green. Reptilians. You know? I don't know if they're reptilians.
In yellow though.
Yellow, oh, my bad. Well, you're not yellow. You're brown.
I'm
I'm white. So you're mixed with a little tint like me. We're on the spectrum. We're probably. I mean, I'm glad we got that spectrum. We're on the color spectrum of race here.
You know, when he said spectrum, I thought of the other spectrum.
No, we're in winter, if we're not in Florida, we turn white. But since we're in Florida, we've got the tan spectrum all the time. So then we're kind of like on the brown side. But we're not the brown Arabs, and we're not the brown Latinos. We're just the brown browns.
I mean, we look more like we're like more Italian brown.
Yeah, I mean, we could. You know, I am Sicilian, but I'm also a little bit of everything, and so are you. So it's so hard for some people like us, the mixed Americans, and I don't mean mixed in the mind, I mean mixed with our blood, with our generations, that these older organizations, these old guard people, they hate us.
Well, my thing is, I can't pull myself to a certain group, right? I can't be all Asian. I can't be all Italian. I'm American.
Yeah, but I can be all American.
Right.
That's
what
where
I
I'm
can
at.
be.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, dude. This is where I've lived my entire life. It's so hard. Like, people will talk to me about this person or that people or this or that, and I'm sitting here listening. I'm like, yeah, but I'm part of them too. You know, it's so weird.
And as an American, I love to follow the Constitution. And anything against the Constitution is, well, against us. You know.
That's a fight. You know, that's a fight you want to kind of jump into, right? You're really willing to fight for that, right?
I am.
See, that's special when you hold, and you're willing to fight for others in that case too, so they can hold their constitutional rights. Correct? That's something I think we should all be able to agree on as a nation. To say, hey, it doesn't matter if you're red or if you're blue, on the side of the political spectrum, whatever. What matters is we're all American, and we have to remember that if we're fighting amongst each other, we're never going to see the wolves at the door, and they're going to eat us because we're too busy fighting, right? So if we're too busy fighting then against each other, then it's an easy takeover for everybody else. And that's
the scary part. And when you realize that, it starts to put everything into perspective. It's only been 200 years.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, is everybody wants us to fall off at it's time for the change. It's time for a change. No. We're the change. We're the change.
Right.
Right now, we're the change. There's no better in China. They're throwing people in prisons.
And there's no better in Russia.
There's no better in Russia. I'm not gonna dog much on Russia because I understand what Putin is like. He wants Russian sovereignty. He doesn't want the UN to be involved with Russia. Why doesn't he want the UN to be involved with Russia? Because Russia is a major oil. He's got lots of oil, right? So he knows that the UN likes to come in, create havoc. Then there's going to be some kind of problem, and then America has to come in and defend, and then take up oil, and then China comes in and rebuilds, and all this other stuff, and then takes over the land. This is a blueprint that's been going on for a while. The UN has been the Trojan horse to do it. What do? Because they're going to come for us if we deny them.
They're already coming.
There you go. And that's the other thing, is because they know that this is going to happen. They've already prepared for this to happen, right? But what they don't understand is they don't know at what lengths we'll go to stop it from happening. Like, I am very sure that there are other podcasters out there and other people not on podcasts that are willing to make sure to go through all the pressure, all the business to make sure that this country comes out clean again. I'm one of those people.
I agree.
And are you one of those people?
I am one of those.
You'll fight for it to be clean again and clean up the country?
Yeah.
I'm one of those people for sure. And I hope that you guys are one of those people, because you have to be. Because that's the only way we can come together and say, hey, listen, no more of the bull. Nothing like that. We need to take that bull by the horns and slaughter it.
And the first step, and the easiest step, is to educate yourself.
Educate. You don't have to listen to us. I'm just a podunk boy from Kansas. Just got a degree and was in the military. I'm a free American.
Because if you educate yourself with the law, you educate yourself about the current situations around you, and you educate yourself about the resources that you have and the availability of the land around you, then you'll have enough power to say no.
Follow the money too. Look at where the money's coming from that's pushed in all these groups, right? Where is this money coming from? And then who's giving it? And then think about why they want to give it. It's out there. The whole thing that gets me is that over the years, everybody has talked about their position and how they want to be. I've said it just now. My position as a nationalist and as American, I will fight for each American to keep their rights, period. Right? And I've done it already in 2 wars. So I've already proven it. I put my name on the dotted line. I don't have a problem doing it again. Right? It's just a matter that how many other people are willing to do that? You know, and that's something that people need to reach deep down and see if those other people that are funding those organizations to create chaos, are they there to help you? Are they there to help your neighbor? Are they there to help your businessman down the street, the small business? Or are they there to cause havoc, to cause division, to cause hate?
Mm-hmm.
You have to look at these things. Is it going to progress the country further in a good note? Where's Martin Luther King? You know, where's our great person to bring us together? Where's our Kennedy? Right? Everybody's trying to say, oh, it's Trump. Well, Trump is a fantastic man. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a national treasure. I think Elon Musk is a national treasure. I think Tucker Carlson's a national treasure. I think Robert Kennedy is a national treasure, right? I think all these people are fantastic, wonderful people for our country, but who's going to bring them all together?
And that's a good question.
And we'll leave you at that.
Will it be Tucker?
I like Tucker. I think that Tucker has a base, but his base is really, instead of being left or right, it's always, oh, MAGA Republicans. No, they're just Republicans. But everybody's the same.
They're also just Americans.
Left wing, right wing, same bird. Same bird up there. And the fact is, neither one of them are the bird for America. That's not the eagle. That's not the bald eagle. Neither one of them. They're like whatever China's national bird is.
Or it's a drone.
Yeah, drones. Their national bird is the drone. That's a t-shirt. Somebody's going to steal that. But, and then we talked about, you and I talked about also Key West Sunrise.
Well,
Ooh.
I don't remember much about it, so...
let me fill you in a little bit. So, what Key West Sunrise is, it is a nonprofit organization, and they might have already changed the name by now, but it's a nonprofit organization that takes the unaccompanied, undocumented children.
Here in Florida, and?
I don't know if it's in Florida.
Oh.
Key West is Florida, but I don't know I'm not going to say it's in Florida because I'm not 100% sure, because I didn't travel to Key West to find it yet. It'll probably, by the time I go down there, it won't be there. But it's said that they're in, they usually set up these communities or these establishments are there to take care of the children, but they end up transporting the children across America to airports, and that's their meetup for these people that are going to adopt the children. But there's no documents for these children, and they've admitted for an entire month that they gave the children off to the wrong people. How terrifying is that?
That is really terrifying.
And I don't know how long this is the thing. I've tried to call out President Trump about this. I tried to call out Biden about this.
Have you tried DeSantis?
DeSantis is now on the globalist agenda, in my opinion.
Well, you gotta try everyone.
I'm just saying he's kind of in the back pocket of the globalists now. When Gavin Newsom can blow you out in a debate, which you should win easily, there's an issue. You've bowed down, or they've got something on him, which I hate to think that they would get something on him, because he's supposed to be like the next Captain America for us, and like they tarnished him. And I don't know what it is. I hope Governor DeSantis. I really love what he's done here in Florida, but I think that they've got something on him, and I think he's smart enough to get out of it sooner or later. I hope he does. But anyway, these Key West places, these Key West Sunrise places, it's terrifying, because if you think about it, if you're a parent and you think about your kid getting snatched and taken across the border and used as a drug mule, then used for sex several times in a day, passed off through government stuff, it's basically, they've created like a slave trade system with children that can't be documented. Tim Ballard should check that out. Right? And it's another thing that gets me is that all these people that come out quick to denounce Trump after all these good he's done, I look at them and I'm like, well, were you on the flight list? That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Jimmy Kimmel is on the flight list. Epstein's flight list.
Bill's on there.
Yeah, these are all people that have touched kids, have been to there's video out there, guaranteed. And that's why I believe that the CIA can actually clean this up really easily. They can do it one way or the other. To me, honestly, I don't care.
But
I just care about integrity and honor of our country.
I just don't know if we should ever bank on anybody else to do it.
I can't do it. Well, I could do it, but I'm pretty sure I'd get arrested pretty quick when I start arresting others.
But when you start speaking your mind and you start when you start taking action, start emailing, start writing letters.
You really want me to start writing letters to everybody, but I've been calling everybody out on Twitter.
But the thing is, people
that's our letters now.
Always get called out online, right? Now, when someone gets a letter, then they are what? Surprised.
I mean, all right, my penmanship is pretty good.
Yeah, do it.
You want me to go old style?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. You don't even want me to type it. You want me to write it.
Write it.
All right.
By hand.
Okay. I'll do it. And the only reason why I want to do stuff like that is because I know you're going to step into it, and then you got to have somebody to watch your back.
Right.
And, who better than your dad?
And what we should do is we should start locally, and then from local levels to higher levels, and then higher and higher, so we have a list of people.
All right. If that's what you want to do, I'll let's do it together then.
Yeah.
You're what, 17 now?
I am.
And you've decided a long time ago that you wanted this kind of life, huh?
Definitely.
It's tough. It's tough.
I know.
Like, they'll pull lies out. They'll try and say everything, right? They'll pull out what you looked at on the internet back in 1954 or 95. There wasn't even internet back then. I'm blowing smoke now. I'm
we'll
teasing.
just see you on the next episode.
I'm jousting, yeah.
So this was episode 50.
50.
And we'll like to see you on episode 51. And I hope that I can figure out how to edit all this stuff soon, so I could start clipping different parts and put it online.
Yeah, I'm not
Make it look pretty.
This. I'm an old guy.
Well, let's see if Apple can.
Oh, they don't like us,
or
dude.
something. Yeah.
The owner of Apple isn't he Russian?
I don't know.
I thought he was Russian, but he's. I think he's got that globalist thing on him. But
Well, everybody's got this globalist thing on them. Not everybody.
well, I mean,
let me recant my statement. Not everybody.
not everybody, but at the same time, it's good to work globally. I'm not saying that we shouldn't work and trade globally when I say that globally.
But I think when there's like people speaking on a global podium and they're specifically saying, "Hey, we're going to take your rights away,"
yeah,
I mean,
that's an issue.
That's an issue.
That's a scary. That raises alarms. It raises. But
they're
then,
going to take your privacy.
but the thing about it is, people that have a 9 to 5, they don't want to hear this. They don't understand this. They don't care about this because it's not their life. But it's knocking on your door, and they're talking about you, even though you don't know that they're talking about you. It's like we got to wake up and we got to see this. We got to see what's on the horizon.
And they're so cocky too. They just tell you.
Yeah, because they have money and they've never been stopped before.
Yeah.
They've pretty much got us under their boot right now.
They're
And
like, we're gonna get you masks again.
yeah, we're gonna push the new COVID. Like, okay, well, flu season disappeared. Okay, all right, we'll no longer get flu shots. Now just take this other shot, but it doesn't help you. And you can still get the other flu. So, yeah, good luck with that.
We'll see you on the next episode, which is episode 51.
51.
All right.
See you next. Bye.
Peace. Don't forget to get the live.